What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Afro Crypto channel. Today, my name is Byron. If you haven't hit the subscribe button down below, make sure that you hit the subscribe button so that you don't miss out on the amazing content that we create here at the Afro Crypto channel. Our main focus is to help very many people, or to help everybody who's trying to get into the cryptocurrency space, to understand what the space is generally all about, and to also learn how to be able to navigate that space. Now, with that said, today I'm going to talk about Tezos. I don't know if you guys have heard about Tezos, but it's this company that's trying to solve the governance issues that Bitcoin faces. I'm sure that very many of you guys have heard about the SegWit, first of all SegWit, and then like SegWit 2X, where there was going to be like a Bitcoin hard fork. And a hard fork basically means that it basically means making a significant change on the blockchain. So I don't know if that's very clear, but like, this is what I mean by saying making a significant change on the blockchain. Now there is, I'm sure you've heard of like people that people that mine Bitcoin. So people that mine Bitcoin using a specific type of software, and on every miner's computer they have like the same copy of the Bitcoin ledger. Like everybody trying to mine Bitcoin at any particular time has a copy of this ledger, has the same copy of the number of transactions that have taken place on the Bitcoin platform from the beginning of Bitcoin up to today. So now, if when they do a hard fork, they change the software that they use to mine Bitcoin. When they change the software, they introduce new changes in the new software that they potentially introduce. Think about, say, there've been like arguments of how the Bitcoin platform is slow and how the block size is slow. Oh, the block size is like very small. So for people that want to increase, let's say if you want to increase the size of the block size, the Bitcoin block size, you'd have to change the way the mining software mines Bitcoin, so you're able to incorporate more transactions into one block as opposed to the smaller block right now that people are using to mine Bitcoin. Now, why I'm talking about this is it's very because Bitcoin is governed by consensus. Like so many people, like all the people that have a stake in Bitcoin have to specifically agree which direction they want the network to go. If more people vote for, say, Segwit 2x, as opposed to remaining with Bitcoin as it was initially, Segwit 2x is implemented, and everything else up to the point when Segwit 2x is the same within like these two blockchains. But now after the fork, after the hard fork, the blockchain changes, it diverts. Or one, that's why when there is like a hard fork, you see, oh, we have like Bitcoin Cash and then Bitcoin. And then let's say with Segwit 2x, if it went through, but everyone knows right now that it failed, you'd have Bitcoin 2x and then Bitcoin. So people failed to agree on which direction Bitcoin should go. So that's why the Segwit 2x hard fork was cancelled. But now, in relation this, relating this to Tezos, Tezos is basically saying that if the technology has to advance, there has to be a way that governance is handled, and Bitcoin is not doing it very well because they have all these arguments, and everybody has a stake, and everyone is trying to protect their side or their stake. So it's very hard to have consensus and to be able to like implement something that's new, or to be able to take the the platform basically to another level, because people can't seem to agree on basic things. Now, Tezos says that they're going to build a platform called Tezos, and they would have tokens called Tezos, and they would help solve these governance issues, basically in blockchain and with governments and large corporations. Now, with that said, I think in September, if you can see on my screen right now, um, it wasn't in November. I think it was in October, October 22nd. Um, I read this article on CoinDesk that said that the Tezos founders had been sued in a court because they were trying to take over the foundation that was founded to remain the foundation that was founded to enable the development of the Tezos platform. Then on Wednesday this week, that was the 15th of October, 15th of November, I read this article again on CoinDesk that says that Tezos founders hit with a second class action lawsuit. Now, first of all, like for a very young project like Tezos, they've been around for I think 2 to 3 years. Their network hasn't the Tezos platform hasn't gone live yet. They were able to raise $232 million during their ICO in July, and they were supposed to distribute tokens to people that contributed money during the ICO, but like up to today, they haven't been able to do that yet, and them having to be able to deal with like lawsuits at this time is first of all not good for Tezos, obviously, and then it's also not good for like the whole um, I would say the whole like Bitcoin, no, the whole cryptocurrency space. Like if companies like these that collected so much money haven't been able to deliver on the product that they promised people, and they also they haven't been able to deliver on the promises that they promised, and now they're being sidetracked by lawsuits. Now, when I read the article, I was shocked by some of the allegations that are in the article. First of all, like one of the terms of sale of the tokens was that the Tezos, which are the tokens for the Tezos platform, were characterized as charitable contributions, and these guys, the guys at run Tezos, they're called the Braidmans. The guy, it's a husband and wife team, and they were able to pocket tens of millions of dollars for themselves. Now, the lawsuit also alleges that they broke federal and state they broke federal and state security laws because they were selling securities, but they disguised them as not securities, sort of like charity. So it's an open secret that everybody who participates in an ICO obviously is an investor, and they want to be able to make money from buying and selling tokens. It's obvious. Everybody knows that. So these guys were like, oh, if you participate in this ICO and if you participate in our ICO and like you buy our tokens, you're not an investor. You're giving us charitable contributions, and there's no guarantee that we'll be able to give you the tokens or not. So I think that's very fishy. And also, when I went and like read about Tezos, like read about their ICO and like terms that they used during the ICO, there was something like um, there was something like their ICO was uncapped. I know like very many of you are wondering what does like uncapped mean. So uncapped basically means they set up their ICO to collect as much money as they could. So there was no limit to how much money they could collect during this ICO, and I think that's also fishy because usually companies that raise money, companies that get venture capital money, like say you have you go to like investors and you want investors to give you money so that you can be able to like scale your project. So usually at this stage, maybe it's stage one or stage two or stage three. If you go to investors and you want them to give you money to scale your project, you usually have an idea of how much money you need. Let's say you needed like $5 million or even $500,000 to be able to scale the project. So you go and you talk to investors, you tell them, this is what I have, this is what I'm planning to do, I need this much money, this is how I plan to use this money to be able to achieve this objective that I'm trying to achieve. So if you're able to convince them, they'll give you the money, and you go and you continue developing the product that you said you're going to develop. Now, if after say 6 months or 1 year, you realize that the money isn't enough and you've burned through the money, you could say, okay, now we're having a stage two, round two, for you to raise more money to be able to continue developing the project. So I'm saying that because I think that very many projects in the cryptocurrency space raise money. Some raise 5 million, 10 million, 500,000, 20 million, 30 million, whatever amount of money that they raised. And I think that during the course of building the products that they say they are going to build, they might realize that the money that they raised at first was not enough to be able to take them from where they were to the promised land of where they want to go potentially. So they might stage round two to be able to sell more tokens and raise more money to be able to scale the projects. But it's really usually unheard of for a company to have entrepreneurs to come to you and say, "Oh, we're trying to build this project. We're trying to build this product, but we don't know how much money we need." I think that's very crazy. I don't know how the Tezos thing will be resolved, and maybe it will blow over, maybe it will take down the company, but I think that will have significant repercussions in the whole cryptocurrency space and how companies raise money. And maybe these guys were just trying to raise money to get rich. I don't know. But I don't think it's very good for the space generally. Yeah, I guess that's all I had to say about Tezos today. Don't forget to subscribe. Don't forget to hit the share button down below. And I will be right with you.